Welcome into Football Guys Sunday Morning Live. I am Joey. Adam's here. Colton's here. We're ready to have a good morning. We'll help you to get some starts and sits to get you on the road to the playoffs. Colton, we'll go to you first today. How's your weekend been so far?
Good, man. I had a bunch of buddies come in
Okay.
from college for the ASU West Virginia game yesterday, and now I have 5 grown men sleeping in assorted places around my house. So we really are throwing it back to college a little bit. It's been a good time.
I remember the days of having just assorted people on my living room floor and my couches. Uh,
Yeah, we have a
some
lot of
people
air
call that the good
mattresses.
old
We've
days. I
upgraded
think there are
a little
definitely good
bit.
things
There's a lot
about
of
it.
air mattresses. So
Adam, any strangers sleeping in your house this morning?
No, just family members. We're keeping it PG at the Hutchison household. No, we're doing good. Ready, we started the morning off with some football, and we're ready to get in some football questions.
Yeah, we'll be here with you until noon today. Jeff Bell will be joining us halfway through the show. Pre-warning, I'm gonna be a little snippy with Jeff because there's a kind of important game for Jeff and I today with the Bills and Bucks. Very excited for
Ooh.
that game. Yeah, it's a big one. Before we get to that, though, let's talk some injuries and out today. Lots of people out. Lots and lots of people out. Sam Laporta is on the IR. Do we expect him back before the fantasy playoffs, Adam?
Yeah, it's a tough one because we haven't gotten like the specifics of his injury. We just got back right now. Anytime they put a player on IR with a back injury, I tend to think it's not a soft tissue. It's not soft tissue related. So potentially dealing with like a fracture or maybe some type of disc issue. I will definitely be writing a little bit more detail about it on Monday once I dive in here a little bit and look at some injury trends. But it could be an extended absence for Sam Laporta.
Okay. Well, hate to see that. It was I had like a tale of two moments where one of the things people like to do when they get in a draft with me is snipe me on Sam Laporta because I love him. And so I was like, ha! And then I realized, but man, I have a lot of Sam Laporta. A lot of switching from a tight end this week. Pair of Giants are out today. Jackson Dart and Darius Slayton will both not be playing. Hopefully Jackson Dart will be back sooner rather than later. But in his place, the Giants did the thing. They put Jameis Winston in at starting quarterback. So get
Let's
ready,
go.
folks. There's going to be clippable moments, whether it's before the game, after the game, possibly during the game. I don't know. Jameis is entertaining at all times. He was singing Hamilton this week. So we'll see what he can do out there with the Giants today. Any hopes for Jameis today, Colton?
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, man. Anytime Jameis is on the field, you got to get a little excited. The Packers obviously are a tough matchup. I mean, I just watched the 10-7 barn burner last week on Monday Night Football with the Eagles and the Packers. So I'm sure that was disgusting to everybody without a rooting interest, but a win's a win.
Yeah.
Um, so anytime, man, Jameis takes the field, it's gonna be fun. I think the best thing that you're gonna get with Jameis for fantasy is the reckless abandon, right? He's just gonna push the ball down the field, and you're not really gonna see, he's playing with house money. So I think that's always fun.
I've said that Jameis is the most fun quarterback to watch when he's not on your team, but when he's on your team, he's an absolute nightmare. And I'm speaking of on your NFL team. Because those years in Tampa, I just never knew what I was getting into.
It was 30-30, right? 30 touchdowns, 30 picks,
30 interceptions. Yeah, just
what a ride.
Yeah. Speaking of the Buccaneers, Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin will be out today. They both did practice this week, but Bucky was not taking contact. I was paying very, very close attention to Bucky Irving's practices this week. Is that the next step here, Adam? As Bucky Irving takes contact and then you can get back in the lineup?
Yeah. I do think they're inching closer. We know he's dealing with a pair of injuries. It seems like the foot injury may be the most limiting at this point. I suspect maybe potentially dealing with something similar to what J.K. Dobbins is dealing with that just put him on IR. So it would explain the extended absence, but it sounds like we're inching closer to both a Bucky Irving and Chris Godwin return.
Beautiful. Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman are out today. The Keon Coleman news came in a little late. He's a surprise and active, and he's a healthy scratch. So no injuries listed or anything. So if you were going to have to play Josh Palmer in a desperation spot, I think this is probably the week to do that. So Yeah, you could fire him up if you absolutely need a desperation flex play. CJ Stroud will also be out today, still dealing with the concussion symptoms. Torrey Horton, Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. I want to kind of chat about, Adam. What's the read there on Marvin Harrison Jr. time-wise?
Yeah, it's one of those rare ones with appendicitis. We've seen this pop up once or twice the last couple of years. It's something that's a little bit outside of my scope, looking at like musculoskeletal issues, but it's something that is obviously going to hold him out this week, potentially next week. Sometimes these teams like to hold off on contact a little bit as that player recovers from surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't expect it to be an extended absence, but we're looking at somewhere between 1 to 4 weeks potentially for Marvin Harrison Jr.
The appendix is an organ, I believe. Is that correct, Colton?
You nailed it.
No, I was asking Colton.
Yes.
You said you don't have
I was going to say yes, and it sounds like I was on the right track. So yes, it is, Joey. Thank you for asking.
Yeah. I had my gallbladder removed and I couldn't. Yeah, I was a mess. So I imagine the appendix is probably kind of the same thing. Smaller little organ getting taken out laparoscopically. Yeah, he's on the shelf for a couple weeks. All right. Isaiah Pacheco out today. Rashad Bateman also out. Oh, Dylan, our incredible graphics guy. He actually got Keon Coleman in the graphic for me. So Keon Coleman will be out today, as well as J.K. Dobbins. Colton, what is, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your faith and trust in RJ Harvey today? Or is there somebody else?
Man, I will answer I will rate it real quick, and then I will expound ever so slightly. I think RJ Harvey has done enough to where you have to be most excited about him, but I'm still going to rate it at like a 6. Because Sean Payton is his head coach, and Sean Payton is calling the shots here. And Jaleel McLaughlin is still in that backfield. And Tyler Batty, who week 1 was stealing some of the reps from RJ Harvey. So this is a situation where obviously RJ Harvey is going to be the most valuable fantasy asset in this backfield, like going into the situation. But you definitely want to see how it unfolds a little bit before it's like wheels up. RJ Harvey is, a league winner to the moon, all of those things, because this could be a frustrating split, not one where RJ Harvey isn't valuable, but one where we kind of want to see it break down a little bit.
Yeah. I've got a soft spot for RJ Harvey. Got to watch him play in college over at UCF. So we're hoping for the best for him today, but I'm a little shaky on starting him. Expected to play today. Pretty much the questionable list of people. Jameis Winston. What did I say? I'm going to say Jameson wins. Yeah. Jameis Winston, Quentin Johnston, Bam Knight, Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Devontae Adams, Ricky Pearsall, and Brock Purdy, all expected to be out there today. Adam, with Ricky Pearsall and Brock Purdy, they have been a common theme on the show of this season of just being out. Are we expecting all systems go for both of them today?
Yeah, I think they should be able to handle like the normal amount of workload. I'm a little bit more nervous just given his injury, talking about Ricky Pearsall, that is, in terms of fantasy production coming back from that knee injury that we did get confirmation at this point that he was dealing with like a PCL sprain. Pretty limiting for NFL wide receivers. The most recent comp that we got is Puka Nacua, who did come back from that injury as well, but definitely had a ramp-up period in terms of his fantasy production. So I'm a little bit hesitant about him, just looking at some of our rankings at Football Guys. I think we have him appropriately slotted just because there is going to be some risk. I don't think it's just Ricky Pearsall's active and we're getting the production that we're getting pre-injury.
All right. And not expected to play today, Brian Thomas Jr. And Brandon McManus. I put a kicker on here because he's kind of a pretty heavily rostered kicker. So McManus will not be out there for the Packers today. So go get, Lucas? What's his last name? Colton, fill me in. Do you know?
Is it Lucas Haverslick? Does that sound right?
Wow.
I'm going to look right now.
What a poll.
I want to confirm. Yeah, Lucas Haverslick.
There was a time in my fantasy career
that
I could pull the kicker names out, but
I don't know how I got.
The more we slide,
it was the first name. To your credit, the first name really helped. So
I did have that. And then little spoiler there. because we usually have extra slides. We didn't have a questionable slide because all the questionable people are basically playing today. So that's good to see. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Football Guys Live YouTube channel. Football Guys Live YouTube channel. Here with you every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. till noon. And then at noon, if you didn't get enough of us, you can go hop over to the Discord, get your questions answered over there before the show and before the game start. All right, let's get right into these questions. Happy to see all of our normal viewers in here today. Thanks for being here with us during these early games. We know that you've got the NFL on another TV, and we don't mind that. All right, Yitz in here. Great show. Would you start Bo Nix or David Mills as a QB2? And he's got Josh Allen at the QB1. Colton, pick one.
Yeah, I think this Kansas City matchup, I should say, is going to be tough. And we've seen some up and down from Bo Nix. I think a lot of his explosions for fantasy have been, in the fourth quarters of games where they're mounting these absurd comebacks. I do think, based on what we saw, and I looked at it a little bit this week, just kind of the efficiency metrics and things from Davis Mills last week in another crazy comeback against Jacksonville. But even with the volume, and when you're down by 19 points in the third quarter, you're going to throw the ball a ton. And even with that volume, Davis Mills was actually pretty efficient. I like what I saw from him, and I like the matchup against Tennessee. You just got to hope he does his damage before, this game gets out of hand. And if it's a close divisional game, I think then I'm really feeling Davis Mills. So I think I'm going to lean maybe Davis Mills ever so slightly, just because I think this matchup for Bo Nix is kind of brutal.
All right. I hear you. Jay Blaker in here bringing up, and he's got a dog in the picture. Appreciate that as always. Brings up a very interesting point, and I'll get to the question in a second, but there are 4 games today with crazy wind going on. In Green Bay with the Giants, there's 20-mile-an-hour sustained with 30 to 40-mile-an-hour gusts. In Pittsburgh, 15 to 20, so not so bad, but 30 to 35-mile-an-hour gusts. In Buffalo, 20-mile-an-hour with 35 gusts. And in Cleveland, 25 miles per hour winds with 30 to 35 mile per hour gusts. So it's going to be a little windy out there in some of these games today. Thank you to Sigmund Bloom for popping that over to us. So I have that information on that. Appreciate that, buddy. Jay Blaker saying, good morning. I'm a bit worried about the weather and the matchup for the Ravens at Browns. Any chance you would start Caleb over Lamar? Adam, are you getting that cute?
I'm not getting that cute. I've never, oh boy. Uh-oh. That's a good start. No, I've never been a big weather merchant, if you will. If on the fringes, you got some flex consideration guys, maybe, but in this specific situation, like, there's no world I'm benching Lamar Jackson for Caleb Williams. Even with one leg, I'm playing Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Lamar. He's got his legs to give him a good floor. My thought with wind has always been the deep target guys where you're going to have to heave the ball down the field to get to him. The only wide receiver I really moved down a lot today was Tez Johnson. I moved him down to, I think, like 5 or 6 spots, not even like to a different tier, just to the bottom of the tier that I had him in. So kind of like Adam said, don't be a weather merchant, but, pay attention to it. I do think, you'll see a lot of Josh Jacobs today for one. That matchup's really great against the Giants. Plus, if there's wind going, let's just give the ball to Josh Jacobs 30 times today. All right. And one more. Pick one at the flex. Jameson Williams, Chase Brown, or Quinshon Judkins. Colton, pick one.
Yeah, I think Jameson Williams is interesting without Sam Laporta in the mix, but also, there's been so much made. One of the biggest storylines this week was Dan Campbell taking over play calling and throwing the readers on, and then all of a sudden Jameson Williams became a pretty big thing, right? So he's incredibly interesting this week. Chase Brown, the last time he played the Steelers, though, had a pretty that was kind of the start of his renaissance a little bit, right? The 10 carries for 90 or so yards, whatever he did on Thursday Night Football. But I do think right now, especially given the state of the Steelers' run defense a little bit, and the way that, Kamani Vidal last week got back on track, but the week he was my start of the week, he didn't do absolutely anything. So against the Steelers. So I do think I'm staying Jameson Williams, but Chase Brown is very close. If I was going to rank them, I think I'm going Jameson Williams, Chase Brown, Quinshon Judkins.
All right. Gabe's got a question for us and calling us beautiful, so we appreciate that, which just means we'll read your question. He's got a guillotine decision today. PPR, Shakir or Higgins at wide receiver. Ooh. Let's talk this one out because I think there's plus to both of them. The matchup for Higgins is fantastic, and Shakir looks to be kind of the number one wide receiver for sure today in Buffalo. Man, I'm having a tough time choosing between those guys. Colton, do you have a read on it?
Yeah,
Or
Adam,
go ahead.
what was your read?
I mean, T. Higgins has actually been really good with Joe Flacco this year. And I know there's a tendency in guillotine league sometimes to play that safer floor option because you just need to finish not in last place. But especially at this part of the season with so many teams probably being chopped from that league, you're going to have to score a lot of points in a guillotine league. And I'm shooting for the ceiling. I think T. Higgins does have a higher ceiling, actually a much higher ceiling than Khalil Shakir, in my opinion.
Perfect. I think I agree with you on that. Yep. I had a choice. It was T. Higgins and Devontae Adams. Actually, my daughter's league, and we were doing the lineup together. And that was the one I was stuck on because, Adams is questionable, and I think T. Higgins could have a big game today, but we still went with Adams. But it's still hurting. I might switch it back. I don't know. I feel good about T. Higgins, too. And then in Chase Brown, DeAndre Swift, or Kamani Vidal at running back. Pick one, Colton.
Yeah, I still think here DeAndre Swift has looked awesome in the last couple of weeks. I do think Kyle Monunga has carved out a bit of a role, and rightfully so. He's really come on strong. But I do still think what we're seeing from Chase Brown, he had 14 targets the last time we saw him play. It's pretty absurd. So I think based on what we've seen from Chase Brown and the way that the Bengals have gotten back on track ever so slightly, especially along the offensive line, they've had some better performances lately. I do think I'm leaning Chase Brown.
All right. And Diesel in here. Morning. Loveland, Musgrave, or Knox and PPR. Adam, pick one.
Oh, man. I'm going to lean Colston Loveland.
Okay.
I know, Cole Kmet has certainly capped Loveland's ceiling here a little bit, but I think we're like in the middle of his breakout right now. I really like some of the stuff that he's done. He definitely has that big playability. Obviously, if you watch the end of that Cincinnati game, you saw that long touchdown run. I'm going to lean Colston Loveland slightly over Dawson Knox, but that's how I would rank them. Loveland, Knox, and then Musgrave.
All right. William Taylor, good morning. Need one wide receiver and one flex in standard non-PPR. RJ Harvey, McConkey, Pickens, and Jamison Williams. Colton, pick one wide receiver and then pick a flex, please.
Yeah, I non-PPR either. So I do think that makes Jamison Williams a little more valuable. I do like Jamison Williams as the wide receiver. And then I think for your flex here, oh man, I would rank them Jamison Williams. I do think I'm gonna lean McConkey based on the state of this Jacksonville defense, and then Pickens, Harvey.
Yeah, Pickens and McConkey was what I was kind of struggling between those two.
Yeah.
So, but I think I would go McConkey.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, you have a puzzled look on your face. Did you see something injury wise?
No, I didn't want to get off topic. I you know what? No, I'm just going to address it right now. We had a bet last week. And I don't know if the people remembered the bet, but Joey, I don't see a Florida State shirt on under it. Do you have a Florida State shirt underneath? Oh,
man.
Here we go.
We are 19 minutes in, man.
No, I keep me to this. I will show up next week with one. I completely forgot, and I always pay up on my bets. I went and tracked down a Tom Brady Patriots jersey for Tuesday night. Dude, you looked like something bad happened, and I love that you're that ornery.
No, I apologize to our listeners. We're gonna get back to the questions. I was just sitting here thinking a little bit, looking through some stuff, and then I realized, yeah, Joey Wright, not a big bet guy, huh? Adam on the matchup.
I will find a Florida State, and it will burn my skin when I put it on.
I'm teasing you, buddy. I'm teasing you. I just had to get that in.
Okay, I'm gonna put a little note here. Joey FSU shirt. FSU shirt. Ugh. I'm gonna hate next week. All right, Irish. Top of the morning to you. got the coffee kicking early today. Irish, just to let you know, I hit the Baileys for the first time of the season last night, and it was delicious. PPR, who gets the flex? Judkins, Gadsden, Marks, Franklin, or Harvey? Pick a flex, Adam.
These are some good options. I think I'm going to go with Quinshon Judkins. I just think he's the safest option in terms of workload. I'm close with Gadsden. He's coming in a little bit banged up with that quad contusion, but he is going to play this week. But I think as a whole, I just like what Quinshon Judkins has done this year.
All right, sounds good. Jeff just popped into the down below backstage, and he's got a Bills sweater on, so it's gonna be fun in a little bit, guys. All right, PPR: Jennings, Franklin, or Parker Washington. Colton, pick one.
Yeah, I think Parker Washington, with all the injuries in Jacksonville's wide receiver room and the hierarchy for targets, I think what we've seen from Parker Washington has been pretty special. But we've seen something very similar with Troy Franklin and his ascension in Denver, right? I do think, though, that the volume we're going to see from Parker Washington might give him a slightly higher floor than Franklin. And I don't want to completely ignore Jennings, but I do think if I was ranking them, I think Jennings could be a solid option too against Arizona. But if we're going to rank them, I think Parker Washington, Franklin, Jennings would be my preference.
And then I like Aaron Jones today over Marks.
Oh, I missed that one. Thank you.
No. I didn't even ask you that part. I wanted to answer a question because sometimes I feel left out. So I just hop in.
Man. All good.
Pearsall upside today. Yeah, he's got upside. Thank you. You're welcome, Mark. I read that as March Madness. I don't know why. Mark Chase?
Mark Madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Good morning, fellas. Full PPR. Choose two. Quinshon Judkins, Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, or we don't know if it's Javonte or Jameson. He's asked a combination of possessions. So we're going to say Jameson Williams because he said it along with the wide receivers.
Sure.
Choose two, Adam.
I already talked about how I really like Judkins. I think it's deemed an unfavorable matchup with Baltimore, but the Browns have, proven that they're okay going to Judkins, even in games that they're trailing here a little bit. So I'm going to go with Judkins, and then, Colton hit on it a little bit. Jameson Williams is becoming a trendy fantasy football pick. I think a lot in part because Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling for the Detroit Lions, and that switched it up a little bit. And last week, Jameson Williams was heavily involved. So if we're following that trend, I'm going to pick Jameson Williams as my second option.
All right. Lord Humongous. Now, that's a Mad Max reference, so we're allowed to put that name up on the screen. Morning. Half PPR. Pick two. Sutton, Pearsall, Franklin, and Judy. Somebody likes themselves some Denver Broncos or former Denver Broncos as well. Colton, pick two.
Yeah, I think Franklin is for sure going to be in the mix here. Jerry Jeudy kind of got involved a little bit last week, but I think Baltimore is getting healthy, and that makes them a pretty tough matchup. I don't know if I'm going to go that direction. I think the Niners love Ricky Pearsall, but I can't remember if Joey or Adam mentioned the injury and kind of coming back. What version of Ricky Pearsall are we going to see in his first game back? That was Adam. There we go. I figured if it was an injury, I might lean Adam, but I wanted to be sure, So I do think, though, based on the ascension we've seen from Franklin and the kind of Sutton and Franklin moving in different directions, I do think I'm going to lean Troy Franklin and Ricky Pearsall.
Okay, hot take. Like it. I don't think it's that hot. I think it's a good take. Oh, look at that cute doggy. Hola, mi amigos. Wishing you a fine football this Sunday. We wish it to you as well. Half PPR, need a flex, Quentin Johnston or Juwan Jennings? Adam, pick one. Wide receiver there.
Those guys are definitely in the same tier for us as a whole. I'm going to go... Man, they're ranked back-to-back, actually, in our rankings, looking at our consensus ranks. I'm going to go with Quentin Johnston. I think he's got big playability, always a threat to score a touchdown down the field. So give me some Quentin Johnston.
Irish wants to know if he should have slept through Miami, Washington. No, because then you wouldn't be here with us. So you should not have slept through it. You should have to endure it just like we all did. We're all in this together, folks. We get good ones, we get bad ones. We've had a little run of bad island games lately. Hopefully we'll get some good ones here soon. I think that Dallas-Vegas game could be interesting on Monday, to be honest. Good morning, guys. Need help in the flex. Jameson Williams, Woody Marks, Xavier Worthy, Ortez Johnson, and full PPR. Pick one, Colton.
Yeah, there's been a lot of JMO love on this show, and I think it's rightfully so. I'm very intrigued by Woody Marks in this matchup against Tennessee, right? I think there's a script here that favors some Woody Marks, a heavy dosage of Woody Marks, I should say, in this Tennessee game. And I do think that he has kind of taken this job and separated himself a little bit from Nick Chubb in recent weeks. That makes him somewhat interesting to me. So I do think in terms of if I was going to go one way or the other, I'm probably going to lean Woody Marks here.
All right. Sevlon's joining us, but maybe I should call them Miss Jackson because apparently their question's nasty. Have a nasty question today. PPR, Parker, Washington, Cup, or Shaheed? Pick one, Adam.
They are a major underdog. I think Parker Washington did enough last week that I'm going to buy in. It's got a good matchup, or I should say a decent matchup with the Chargers. I think Jacksonville is going to have to score some points in that game. And then honestly, I don't think it happens in back-to-back weeks, but it's always a threat. Parker Washington is, the Jags punt returner. And that's how he got one of his touchdowns last week. So if you're swinging for the fences, I think Parker Washington's your guy.
Perfect. Did anybody catch that Miss Jackson reference?
I did. It was nice.
Thank you.
Well done.
I tried. Thank you. Howdy. I need to bench one. Half PPR, Devontae Adams, Devonta Smith, Chase Brown, AJ Brown. I'm starting Goddard at tight end if that matters. Not really. I understand why you're saying that, but pick one, bench one, Colton, and then we'll get to starts of the week.
Yeah, you're so good at your segues, man. This is back-to-back weeks where I think you've done this, where you tee up a question that leads right into my guy. So this is a tough one, though. I think Devontae Smith has been on an absolute heater, but I know I don't think you want to corner the entire Eagles passing game, especially given the state of where they're at right now. I just lost the question, but I do think out of these guys, okay, there we go. Thank you. I do think that I might sit Devontae Smith here and go Devontae Adams, Chase Brown, and then AJ Brown, which is going to lean into my pick of the week. And you might think that this is living dangerously, and I completely agree. And I'm going to get into why here in just a second.
Go. I segue.
Oh, okay. We're
right.
That was the setup. Perfect, man. So I think right now, and this goes far beyond the squeaky wheel thing, right? The Eagles are such a matchup predicated team, and such a game plan predicated team where they're leaning on in certain advantageous matchups for other pieces, like on the Devontae Smith touchdown pass against Green Bay. AJ Brown is running a clear out underneath, right? Like everybody is working to make things happen. But in this matchup against Detroit, right, where Detroit brings a ton of pressure, and Jalen Hurts has been the second best by a lot of metrics, the second best quarterback under pressure this season in the NFL. I do think there's going to be a ton of opportunities for him to find AJ Brown against this Lions defense that runs man coverage at a 41.5% clip, and then a single high coverage look on 57.1% of those snaps as well. Detroit's secondary is banged up. Kirby Joseph's going to miss this game. Terry and Arnold is still dealing with the concussion. I do think that despite his pedestrian performance this season, I found that 245 of AJ Brown's 408 receiving yards have come against single high coverage looks this season, 14.4 yards per reception and 9.1 yards per target as well. So this is a big matchup, and it makes sense, right? If the safety can't get over to AJ Brown's side of the field in time, he's shown that the contested catch ability with AJ Brown is absurd. And I think that they're going to lean on that against the pressure looks that Detroit shows. So this might be a big AJ Brown game. Plus you get the squeaky wheel element too. So there's something for everybody there.
Perfect. Colton, thanks for joining us today, buddy. Who do the Eagles have this week?
Thank you for having me. We got the Lions tonight.
That's right, Lions.
So,
You were just talking about that. I
yeah,
was just
no,
excited
it's all
to,
good,
you know,
man.
just excited to
The schedule is brutal every week. It's one of the best teams in the NFL. So,
Well, you have a great Sunday. Enjoy your football and your whatever you're doing today, buddy. Happy to see you.
appreciate you guys.
All right,
Hey,
man.
you guys too. Have a good one.
All right. With probably the least amount of enthusiasm I'll have this season to bring him on, Jeff's here. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Joey, how are you?
Fantastic.
You know, I was
happy to see you.
I was ready to check in here at about feeling like about 65% or so. I was up pretty late last night, and then I saw you posting stuff pretty late too. So I guess birds of a feather. But then I just saw this Marcus Mariota play, which is the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. Like I don't understand how this was not grounding in the end zone. Like, did you see this throw in the end zone?
I did. I think
did
it
you
flew
see me
out
laughing
of my computer
backstage?
screen,
Because
I did. Well, I saw you laughing, and then I thought would look a concern. And I was like, "Oh, please God, don't let him have broke his leg or something." But he looks like he's fine.
but
Jeff, before I really go to you, I want to shout out, and I want to tell you have a friend and our graphics guy and Dylan here at Football Guys, because I asked Dylan to play a little prank, and he decided that getting breakfast was more important than playing a prank on Jeff.
Because Dylan's a real one.
Yeah, I was going to change your Twitter hashtag to like #1 Bucks fan, but Dylan's a team player and decided that he thought breakfast was more important. Jeff, let's talk about your
game last night. I guess I am #1 Bucks fan. So
yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah, not the Bucks I'm talking about. Jeff, let's talk about your start of the week. And I love your start of the week in Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson. So he posted on social media this week a clip from 2023 and was asked about, why are you posting clips from 2023? And he basically just said he needed to get back to feeling savage, get back to feeling like Justin Jefferson, the dominant receiver that we've seen. It seems like everybody is off Justin Jefferson this week. I go to search his name on social media, and it's like bragging about how low he is in ranks. You look at him in ranks in places like Keep Trade Cut or other places, and it's as low as it's ever been for Justin Jefferson. He's coming off his season high in targets. And I understand it was also a season low in yards. And I understand JJ McCarthy is a significant concern, but we've seen this Chicago Bears defense just exploited at times. Some shootout games a couple weeks ago, a big shootout game. So I think that there's a lot of potential here for a big shootout game between Chicago and Minnesota. As we're looking around the league, some weather concerns in some games around the league. This is in a dome. No weather concern in a dome. This Jalen Johnson is not playing. He has given Justin Jefferson some fits in their past history. I mean, this is all setting up very, very well for Justin Jefferson to come through with one of his biggest games of the season. Again, kind of when everybody's moving one direction, I think there's a lot of profit to be made moving in the other way. And I think that this Minnesota-Chicago game is going to be a high-scoring affair.
Awesome. Love it. No disagreements with you. I sat in with Jake Seeley this week, and Justin Jefferson was his start of the week and buy low, like right now, because Jefferson's kind of had not a bad start. He's like wide receiver 17 on the season. Saying go out and get him now because he's gonna have a really good finish to the season. So I love this, Jeff. Adam, let's talk your start of the week. Woody Marks.
Yeah. You know, obviously I gotta have the stats here. Woody Marks, last time Houston played Tennessee, saw a season high in rushing attempts and rushing yards, was able to break pay dirt 2 times. Titans have a bottom 6 rushing defense, or I guess top 6 rushing defense in terms of yards allowed, whatever way you look at it. Woody Marks has been heavily involved since the Texans bye week. Prior to the bye week, he was seeing less than 10 rushing attempts per game. Post bye, he's seen 10 or more rushing attempts in every single game, along with averaging about 4 targets per game. We think this is going to be a good matchup with Tennessee. Tennessee's awful, one of the worst offenses, one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Houston should be able to control this game, control the tempo, and I think to do that, Woody Marks is going to be a big piece. So Woody Marks, my start of the week.
Beautiful. Love that. Before we get back on the start and sit highway, I was wondering if we could take a trip down Narrative Street, Jeff.
Yeah, would love to talk about some narratives. The biggest one, and I'm kicking myself a little bit for not making this my start of the week, Cooper Kupp, go revenge game against the Los Angeles Rams. You feel like Cooper Kupp's probably going to do some things in a game that I don't know either run game was going to be able to get going too much in this game. On the other side, Colby Parkinson's running it back. Los Angeles Rams tight end that is playing more than we would like because of Terrace Ferguson. He's going up against the Seattle Seahawks. And then Robbie Chosen in this Washington-Miami game. Other than that, it is a really light week for revenge matchups. It might have missed something. I tried really hard. I didn't see. I mean, Dare Ogunbowale is not in his biweekly revenge matchup, so that didn't give me a direction to go there. Tyrod Taylor is usually in one. Nah, he's not in one. So we don't have a lot this week. An interesting narrative, though, that Joey, your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Sean Tucker, running back from Syracuse. Syracuse and Buffalo are pretty intertwined there. And Buffalo's run defense has been beyond horrid. I feel like Sean Tucker finds the end zone once or twice today against the Buffalo Bills defense in a homecoming game for Sean Tucker.
I like it a lot, especially if it does happen. Jeff, let's just get it out of the way. Earlier in the week, we talked about the Bucs and Bills. And I think we're both a little like, ugh. I do think the Bills are going to win today. Do you feel like the Bucs are going to lose as well?
I think that I always feel like the Bills are going to lose every big game because I've been a Bills fan for my entire life. So they lose every big game. So that's why I think that.
All right, we'll see what happens today.
Whatever happens, just don't bet on it, guys, because Jeff, let me tell you, Joey does not like to live up to whatever he loses on the bets. That's all I got to say.
I was supposed to wear a Florida State shirt today, and I did not. And I'm going to wear it next week. I need to track one down.
All right.
I've done a very good job of just.
You got to wear it for not next week, in 2 weeks, because that'll be revenge. The rivalry weekend. See, Adam, if you really wanted to stick it to him, you would have said in 3 weeks you need to wear a Florida State shirt.
How about if the Bills win, we push it back 3 weeks? Bills win, double bet. Joey has to wear a Florida State shirt.
The Bills win. He's got to wear the weekend of the Florida game.
Oh God, I don't like this show anymore.
I'm a big Bills fan today.
Let's get back to the questions. You don't need any more of my tomfoolery. All right, Addison or ETN, Jeff, pick one.
Addison or ETN. 1 point PPR. I just talked about the potential shootout in the Minnesota-Chicago game. I think if you want safety, I would go ETN. If you're swinging for an upside, I'd go with Addison here.
All right. Less nasty question. Jake Ferguson or Michael Wilson? Okay, that's fun. It's already starting McBride at tight end. Adam, any love for Michael Wilson today with Marvin Harrison being out?
Yeah, I've just never been a big Michael Wilson guy. Marvin Harrison's out. I'd like to see it. I know it's been up and down with Jake Ferguson. He's cooled off a little bit, but he's been a touchdown machine as a whole for the season. So I like him as best odds to score a touchdown. So I'll play Jake Ferguson in a PPR league.
All right. Mahomes or McCarthy, Jeff?
Mahomes or McCarthy? Give me Patrick Mahomes. I just have talked all the goodness about the Vikings. I'm still going to play Patrick Mahomes when I have the choice.
All right. And then I'll do Henry and Shakir for the other two parts of your question there, Irish. Good morning. Wondering if the weather in Pittsburgh is going to cause issues. I'm debating between Flacco and Prescott. I have Prescott above Flacco in my rankings already. Are you guys there too? Yeah. So play Prescott, Ed. Don't play Flacco.
Yeah.
I feel like we talk a lot about the weather, and it seems like unless it is like tropical storm or unless it's Tua Tagovailoa when it's not 65 and sunny, I feel like the weather, these are professionals and they kind of figure out how to do things even in the weather. I feel like more often than not.
What I normally downgrade, I said this earlier, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, Jeff, and if you don't, let me know, is the deep ball pass catchers. Like, let's say Jameson Williams today was playing outside. I might move him down a couple spots, but not much, just a little bit. To where I normally see
that's two different conversations here. But like the deep ball is like dead in the NFL anyways, but also Jameson Williams horizontal speed. Like we talked about that. Dave and I did it on this show this week. So check it out.
Nice. I love when we promote the product. Jim, still on the island. Good morning. Half point PPR. For my RB2, Derrick Henry scored 2.3 points against Cleveland last time. Or Tyler Algier. I don't think we're there. Adam, are we there?
We are not there. We're going Derrick Henry.
Okay. Jack, good morning, gents. Tough call in full PPR. Pick 2, Swift, Judkins, or Marks. Jeff, pick 2.
Full PPR, give me Swift and Marks. I hear you on Judkins, but I think that the Ravens are on a mission, and Judkins we've seen removed from games.
Oh, we hope you're having a wonderful morning too, Vi Queen. Get your questions in. Need 2. Jameson, Quentin Johnston, Wandale, or Petersall. Adam.
I think they rank them in the order that I would play them.
All right. One more nasty question. Chubb, Spears, or Monungai? Jeff. Pick one.
Chubb, Spears, or Monungai. Full PPR. I would say Tajay Spears in full PPR. Boy, that is a nasty question.
Well, they didn't hide it away. They did tell you right off the bat. It's going to be nasty. All right. Quest for Fantasy Football wants to know, should they drop Penix? They have the options of picking up Aaron Rodgers or J.J. McCarthy. Adam, would you drop Penix for either of those two for the whole season?
I think I would, just to see maybe if J.J. McCarthy becomes this thing late in the season. Penix has been good, but he hasn't certainly been a difference maker at the quarterback position. He's had some pretty bad weeks. He's given you some stinkers. So if you want to buy into the J.J. McCarthy getting healthy after his injury and the Vikings offense, I would do that.
All right. Munzie Munz saying morning to us. Half PPR, Tez Johnson, Christian Watson, Rashid Shaheed, or DJ Moore, Jeff?
Give me Tez Johnson in this one, half PPR. I think the points against Buffalo here.
All right. I think we're trying to find the line on RJ Harvey. Zay Jones or RJ Harvey, Jeff?
That's got to be Zay Flowers, I guess.
You think
Zay
so?
Jones
Okay.
has got an Achilles.
That's a good point.
Why
did
would
Zay
go
or Zay Flowers?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Jeff. Get on
RJ Harvey or Zay Flowers. If it's full PPR, I probably would lean Flowers. If it's not full PPR, then probably go RJ Harvey.
All right. Flacco or Mahomes? Adam, you playing Mahomes against Denver over Flacco?
I am. Yeah, I'm not going to get cute with Mahomes at the QB position. He's our QB3.
I play 3 Eagles Energy Week. I bet he meant every week. Barkley, Devonta, Goddard. Should I look to move Devonta or Goddard or just keep rolling with 3 Eagles? Jeff, how many Eagles do you like in your lineup every week?
How many Eagles do I like in my lineup every week? I think a hard rule of no more than 2 Eagles is probably the right way to approach it in every week. But I think it's every week instead of Energy Week here. If you would move, if you can move Goddard right now in a scenario where somebody's desperate at tight end or you feel comfortable there, I think I'm open to that move. I like Devonta Smith, what he's been doing so far this season.
There you go. All right. Please pick a second wide receiver and a flex between Tez Johnson, Quentin Johnston, and Gadsden. Or McBride is the tight. You're not going to move McBride out. Or Mims, with a kick return bonus of 15 points per. Adam, pick a second wide receiver there and a flex.
I think I'll go with both Chargers. Maybe I should make Quentin Johnson my start of the week because I've been picking him a lot here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna pick him. I'm torn between Gadsden and Tez Johnson. Gadsden's just been so good. Justin Herbert seems to look his way a lot, so I think I'm gonna play Gadsden over Tez Johnson.
All right.
Do you have no concern at all about the Gadsden injury? Because it was a weird story. It felt like he's going for an MRI, second opinion. Like, whoa, what's going on here? And then it was like, oh, he's fine.
Yeah, it's like a pain management thing, honestly. I don't really expect any limitations in terms of mobility. He could obviously irritate it. My guess, if you watch that video pretty close up, he wasn't really wearing knee pads. My guess is that Aranda Gadsden's wearing knee pads this week to cover up that spot. Some people were really concerned about potentially a fracture or something like that. It looked like a knee contusion, quad contusion type injury, which can get a little stiff, but it comes down to pain management. So I don't really have any worries about his usage this week.
Are either of you wearing knee pads this week?
I forgot mine. Shoot.
Yeah, I'm not wearing mine either. Jameis will throw 2 pick sixes to the Packers defense. I'm sure there's a line for
They'll
that
throw
out there.
3 touchdowns to the Giants, though, so it'll even out at the end.
Yeah, somehow he'll end up with 5 touchdowns today. Oh, goodness. Morning all. Picked up Winston. Is he worth starting over Trevor Lawrence or dropping him to pick up Tillman or Keaton Mitchell? Jeff, I'm actually going to tee you up for this. First, answer the quarterback question. Jameis over T-Law today?
Sure. I mean, just because Trevor Lawrence matchup is difficult, and I don't know. That is one that, you make a good point about weather. Joey and Jameis Winston, I feel like, does lean into the more of the vertical throws than a lot of normal quarterbacks.
Straight up in the air.
Yes, exactly. Well, it's going any direction. You never know. It's really a swing, probably for upside if you want to go with Jameis against what could be a good defense, but Trevor Lawrence probably a little bit safer.
To plug Jeff and Dave on Friday morning, they have a great show where they go through all the matchups for the week. And I was listening. I'm in the chat every Friday, and I usually just make fun of Dave and Jeff, but I answer questions too. But Jeff had a really, really great, not take, just like advice on Keaton Mitchell. Jeff, if you know what I'm talking, I know you know what I'm talking about. Could you go into Keaton Mitchell, like rest of the season, what you expect and possibly what could be from him?
Yeah, I think just when you're looking at contingent upside, he's one of the most valuable contingent pieces, I think, in fantasy football. And right now we're looking for that league winner. Everybody, any young-ish running back who gets to touch the ball is a league winner right now. I think Keaton Mitchell should contingent upside. Again, we certainly don't hope for injury or anything, but you need to set yourself up that if something happens with injury or happens with Derrick Henry not being in the lineup, Keaton Mitchell should be seeing double-digit targets weekly, double-digit touches weekly, explosive running back in what is getting back to being an explosive offense again. And I don't know that I see a lot of buzz out there for the potential of that. There's a little bit more now because I think Justice Hill's out. So I think that forced Mitchell onto a little bit more radars than probably where he was sitting previously. But yeah.
Beautiful. Jacob's got a question. I thought what you said was really insightful on Friday, and I wanted to bring some insight into this show for once. Morning Starshine, Super Flex, pick any two. JJ McCarthy, Brissett, Parker Washington, or Tez Johnson. Adam, pick two.
Well, I'm playing JJ McCarthy. Jeff sold me on that matchup with the Bears and the Vikings, especially in Superflex. And then that is a tough one between Parker Washington and Tez Johnson. Let's do Tez Johnson. Let's hope for a high scoring affair between the Bills and the Bucs. Let's have a fun football game.
Yeah, it's about time. I hope there's a lot of points in that game. It's about time the Bucs have a game where they put up points. Been 2 weeks in a row. That's been pretty rough. All right, Jeff, dynasty question for you. He's a contender. It's a 14-team league. He's got Bucky, Genty, Hampton, Cook, Warren. He is loaded at running back. JSN, Ladd, London, Tet. Loaded at wide receiver. Coming to brag about your team. What would you give to buy Garrett Wilson or Malik Neighbors? The owner just lost 2 for the playoffs.
I think to go after Neighbors, Tederick McMillan is probably a guy that I think when you're I'm not going to want to move JSN or probably London ideally. Whereas like Tederick McMillan, I think that you can sell kind of the rookie appeal, the upside on there. And then probably if I were to get off one of these running backs, I'm a noted Bucky Irving hater, so that might be considering a way to go. And I apologize, Joey. I think Bucky Irving is a very fun player, but and then I think James Cook, to sell Cook right now, you'd be selling high on James Cook. So if you're able to go maybe like a James Cook and a Tederick McMillan for Neighbors and slide something back, come the other direction, a young running back you like, or something like that could change value after this season.
Yeah, I think one of the things this offseason is Malik Neighbors. Like now that we've seen what we have in Jackson Dart, because we didn't really get a feel of them together, like a real feel for it. It's going to be fun seeing how high Neighbors goes this offseason.
Yeah, and I think McMillan, you're selling him. I don't know that Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young deserves to be in every conversation with Trevor Lawrence, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa of who's the quarterback next year for the Panthers. I think last week's game kind of really forced Young into that a lot more than he had been sitting previously, but he deserves to be there too. It's 90s NBA, like just trade these guys like the way that Kenny Anderson and Stephon Marbury all would just get traded for each other every other year. Just spin them around like the point guards in the 90s NBA.
Sometimes you just need a change of scenery.
Yeah,
We've seen it work out before. So, yeah. Well, look at Baker in Tampa Bay. He's going to go into Buffalo today. I already answered that one. Coastal Elite. What'd you say?
We already did that one. I've taken this show completely off the rails this morning. I do apologize.
It's all right. No, it's just, I don't know if I've ever had a show that stays on the rails. Speaking of new shows, Monday, new show, Joey, Kevin Murray, the Football Guys Home League show. So check it out. 4:00. We're going to do a premiere. We'll be in the chat. Michael Wilson with no Marvin Harrison Jr. versus San Francisco, or Tez Johnson at Buffalo. Adam, pick one.
Yeah, I think it's still going to be Tez Johnson. I get the Michael Wilson appeal. Just never really seen it in a full NFL game for Michael Wilson, and I've seen Tez Johnson splash in some spots. So give me Tez Johnson for a touchdown and a backflip.
Ooh, I like it. Pearsall or Troy Franklin, Jeff? Pick one.
Pearsall or Troy Franklin? Give me Pearsall. I'm afraid of that Denver-Kansas City game.
All right. Let me get the next question up. Okay. I'm living in a fantasy. Somebody's singing this morning. Andrea, welcome in. Good morning. This one's been bugging me all week. Kyron, Marks or Harvey? Adam.
I think I just want to stick with Kyron. I know he's not, the flashy play per se, but he's been pretty consistent. It is a tougher matchup with Seattle, but I'm gonna stick with Kyron. I'm gonna stick with Old Faithful.
All right.
Where do you guys think J.K. Dobbins ranks in rushing yards across all running backs this year?
17th.
You think rushing yards? Do you think J.K. Dobbins is 17th in the league in rushing yards?
I'm gonna say 13.
He's 5th. You know where he is in fantasy scoring for running backs?
I missed wildly on my first guess.
18.
Oh,
so he's 5th in the league in rushing yards, and he's running back 18 in fantasy. So like, I get the RG Harvey stuff, but like, I mean, you got the guy that's 5th in the league in rushing yards, and he's not scoring fantasy points.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. I feel like knowing his overall redeemed my 17 because I was feeling real bad when I said 5th. I was like, oh man. I just saw the big picture, Jeff. I wasn't so hyper focused. All right. Wandale Robinson, Juwan Jennings, or Gadsden? Jeff.
I like Wandale here with Jameis. I just think they're going to force the ball a lot to Wandale with Jameis.
All right. Andrew, good morning. Which 2 wide receivers would you start in half PPR? Not Brian Thomas Jr. He's not going to be playing today. It doesn't look like. Quentin Johnston, Tez, or Ricky Pearsall? Adam, pick 2.
Yeah, Brian Thomas Jr. officially ruled out.
Okay.
I'm going back to Quentin Johnston. I'm going back to Tez Johnson.
All right. So Johnson to Johnson. It's
Johnston
the baby oil
to Johnson.
Today. Yeah, there you go. Still. Uh-oh, somebody's running. Marcus Mariota just broke one for. When I looked up, he ran about 20 of the yards. There could have been more before that, before I looked up. So, all right. Please pick 1 running back and 1 flex of Walker, Charbonnet, Sean Tucker, and Tez Johnson, Jeff.
Well, I don't think you want to double up your Seahawks backs in this matchup or your Buccaneers probably. I already said I like Sean Tucker against Buffalo. That's a swing. I'm telling you, it's a narrative street swing wild card. But I think that if you wanted to go a little bit safer full PPR, play Tez Johnson and one of the Seattle backs, I would play Charbonnet. But if you really wanted to take that swing, Tucker and Charbonnet.
All right, let's go rapid fire to try to get through as many of these as we can. Rico or Henry? Adam.
Rico.
Keenan Allen or Tyrone Tracy, Jeff?
Tyrone Tracy.
Can't get that there. For some reason it wasn't clicking on. go with Jordan Love or drop and pick up Rodgers, Mills, or Brissett? Pick a quarterback, Adam.
Jordan Love.
Loveland or Knox, Jeff?
Loveland or Knox? Give me Loveland.
Okay. I do like Knox today, though. Like, I agree on Loveland, but I think Knox could have a role today with Keon Coleman being out and Dalton Kincaid being out. Anyways, hey there, football guys. Judkins or Vidal? Adam, pick one.
Judkins.
And then London, Devontae Adams or Devonta Smith? Pick two.
I'm going to pick London and Adams.
Okay. Real friends pay up quick. I'm not a real friend, apparently. Good morning, PPR, Freiermuth or Quentin Johnston in the flex. Jeff, pick one.
Freiermuth or Quentin Johnston? Give me Quentin Johnston here.
I think Ollie Gordon. Is that Ollie Gordon limping off the field?
No, that's Juju Brents.
Okay. I saw a tall. So I thought that's good. Not good that he's limping off the field. No way to rebound from that one. Pearsall, Addison, or Watson, Adam?
Give me Jordan Addison.
I like this question, Dave. Good morning. Flacco in the wind or JJ McCarthy in the dome? I just think Flacco versus JJ McCarthy is interesting because I got him pretty close to my rankings. Jeff, pick one.
I go Flacco.
Okay. And then Parker Washington or Quentin Johnston, Adam?
I hope Quentin Johnston has a good week this week. I really do. I don't know. We just seem to got a lot of his questions, and I would go with Quentin Johnston.
All right, Troy Franklin or Tez Johnson, Jeff?
Tez Johnson.
All right, go Judkins over Vidal. Lockett versus Dallas or Ibuka? Go Ibuka. We're not getting that cute yet. I do like Lockett versus Dallas, but Ibuka's a top 10 wide receiver.
Yeah, it is.
That was real. That came from a real place. Start two. ETN Swift, Devonta Smith, Judkins. Adam, pick two.
DeAndre Swift and I'll go with Devonta Smith.
Congratulations on having Henderson go off. I traded Quentin Johnston for Trayvon Henderson 2 weeks ago. And boy, was that a good trade for me. I could not be happier. My father-in-law is, oh boy, took his daughter first, and then I took Henderson from him. Let me go. All right, Scamper saying, good morning, football guys and gals. Good morning, guys. I'm sorry for the first world problems. Frank in the chat, one of our most faithful viewers. AJB or Sutton? Jeff, pick one.
Do I know who AJB is?
Oh, AJ Brown,
That's
I'm
AJ
guessing.
Brown.
Okay. I would play AJ Brown. I said this week I'm playing AJ Brown in fantasy everywhere, not only because of the squeaky wheel narrative, but also because I made a mistake in the past that I have AJ Brown on my roster.
I took a hot take to say he was going to be a top 12 wide receiver 2 weeks ago, rest of the season. So he's got to start picking it up because I don't want to have two cold takes in 1 year like that. I don't want that cut off. All right. I think we're through most of them. We got a minute left. There, I'll give Jeff energies. Joey doesn't have to. Okay. Guys, thank you so much for being in here this week. Appreciate it, as always, for everyone viewing in with us. Adam, what do you have to say to the people today?
So I just want to wish everyone good luck this week. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to Football Guys if you already haven't. And I will be dropping the Monday injury roundup around noon tomorrow.
All right. And I'm going to throw a link in here for the Discord. So that if you've got some extra questions you need answered today, you can hop right over to our Football Guys Discord and get all of those questions answered. But I've talked enough. Jeff, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope the Bucks and Bills game gets through with no injuries and that you have a lovely day, sir. I do love you very much, even though I razzed you a little bit to start the show. Jeff, what do you have to say to the people today?
Joey, you know the Buccaneers are one of the teams that I'm always pulling for in every other week except for this week. So absolutely best of luck. I was thrilled to see the very best team in America play last night in college football live. I got to go to the Ohio State Buckeyes game. That was a lot of fun. I do want to say that there's a lot of conversation about the Heisman Trophy race being wide open. Julian Sayin is leading the nation in passer efficiency. He's one behind the lead in touchdown passes. He's quarterback for the number one team in America. He is the leader in completion percentage by 5 points, and he's going for the highest completion percentage in a college football season. There is a very, very clear Heisman Trophy winner this year. Don't buy the narrative from ESPN that hates on the Ohio State Buckeyes, and cast your vote for Julian Sayin, Heisman Trophy winner. Go out, get the win this week. We're kind of coming down to the end of your fantasy regular season. You can either ruin somebody's day, you can lock in a playoff spot, whatever it is, whatever you need to do, just win this week. Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Have a great week, everybody.